Hi, my name is Susan Robinson. I'm an environmental analyst at the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. I work at the Osborne Homestead Museum and the Kellogg Environmental Center here in Derby, Connecticut. So my job includes being the museum curator. I create programs, tours. I'm also the environmental educator at the Kellogg Environmental Center, doing teacher workshops, school programs. I'm also the volunteer coordinator for the museum and the center. I coordinate wildlife monitoring, coordinate Project Feeder Watch, bluebird nest box monitoring, the decorating at the Osborne Homestead Museum, and other programs at the center. So what makes Frances Osborne Kellogg so unique is that many of the dairy cows, the Holstein Friesian dairy cows of today, are descendants of Ivanhoe, who was a famous Holstein bull that she bred. Well, in high school, I was interested in biology, and when I went into college, I chose Earth and Environmental Science. And because Earth and Environmental Sciences was such a broad field at the time, I did an AmeriCorps internship with the National Park Service in California. There I worked at a national park doing environmental education, science, and cultural history education, and that's where I gained an interest in the environmental field. I also worked in Brooklyn with the National Park Service as a seasonal, doing outdoor conservation work. We were doing research out in the marsh and collecting samples and surveying wildlife. And as a seasonal, you're still looking for that full-time job. So I applied everywhere, and there was a position open here that had two things that I was interested in: the environmental education and the historical interpretation. So I applied for it, and I got the job here. Every day looks different, and there's something new to do every day. Also, it's a beautiful park to work at. So what I would say to someone who's interested in working for DEEP, start out as a volunteer or an intern, also apply to be a seasonal and kind of get your feet in the door, and also, experiment with different, there's so many opportunities. You can work outdoors, you can also work indoors, you can do wildlife conservation, you can do, like what I do, work at the museum as a curator. And so kind of get your feet into the door doing those things. Also find a mentor. It would be very important to get a mentor. And it's a great place to work. See you in my office.